Have you ever wondered how to add fingerstyle and strumming fills to your ukulele playing? In today's lesson, we're going to learn the first part of a chord melody arrangement of House of the Rising Sun, and then we're going to learn how we can add fingerpicking and strumming to fill the spaces between the melody notes to create this beautiful, rich, full instrumental sound. By the end of today's lesson, you'll not only know how you can apply this to House of the Rising Sun, but other tunes as well to take along your ukulele journey. So grab your uke, download the ebook, which is available for free, linked right over here, and let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to bring the camera down, look something like this. And this is what the chord melody arrangement of this tune sounds and looks like. It should be something like this. Now to play this, it's relatively simple. It's relatively basic. You're going to start by just playing the open on the E string. And then you're going to play through an A minor chord, just adding this index finger here, the second fret of the G string. Then you're going to play the second fret of the A string. Then you're going to play a C chord, everyday C major that we all know and love. Then you're going to play the 7th fret of the A string with your pinky. Then you're going to go to a D chord, slide that pinky down to 5, add the bar all the way across the 2nd fret, strum through all 4 strings. Play open on the A, just taking your hand off, before finally playing the F chord. And we'll just sit there for now. It does go to 12 to play the next melody part. For now, let's just sit on that F. Now there's a lot happening here. You can see the tab on screen. There's a lot of symbols and things. So to break this down to be much simpler, what we want to think of is the timing that this tune is in. It's in 6/8 time. And what 6/8 time means is that we have 6 eighth notes per measure. So the count here is actually pretty straightforward and simple for right now. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it repeats with each bar as it goes through. With that in mind, we can see that our melody notes are going to be at the start of each melody note, or start of each bar, which we play with a chord, as well as the very last note of each bar. This creates this really nice showcasing of the melody being on beats 1 and 6 of each bar. So if I play what we just did again, it sounds and looks something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Now that's really slow, but it gives you an idea of how it can be counted. If I do it much faster, it goes something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You hear it sounds a little bit nicer at that faster speed. But there's a lot of space here when we're playing this. We are playing the chord at the beginning of the bar, which is a really nice chord melody exercise. If you want to learn how to make your own chord melody arrangements like this, I've got a course right over here. But we do that at the start of the bar, but then we only do the melody note at the very end of the bar with nothing in between. So we've got the melody on 1 and 6, and a whole lot of space going on beats 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is really where we get into the meat and potatoes of the point of this video, which is how we can start adding fills in those spaces. So what we want to do is we want to start incorporating some finger picking techniques to be able to play this. I'm going to utilize what's called 3 finger picking, meaning I'm going to use my thumb, my index, and my middle finger. I've got a video on that right here on YouTube that's worth checking out if you've never done the technique. But using this, instead of playing through my thumb and strumming through all 4 strings like I did at the start, I'm going to finger pick them. Now if I do this, I can't play all 4 strings at the same time with these 3 fingers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that first beat with the chord just using 3 of the strings. And the 3 strings I'm going to play are going to be my G, E, and A strings, with my thumb on the G, my index here on the E, and my middle finger here on the A. Now I'm going to start with that same A minor chord we started with. I'm going to pluck those 3 together. And then I'm going to pluck the 2nd fret on the A string for that melody note before plucking the G, E, and A together on the C chord. But you hear this isn't any better than what we were just doing, right? It's still quite boring because it's just playing the melody and the chord with no filler. So to add the filler, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a look at the space in between. If we remember the melody note being on beats 1 and 6, that means I have beats 2, 3, 4, and 5 that I can potentially add filler on. Now, the way I like to do this is actually to use a grid that looks something like this. You can see right now we have the X's representing the strings that we're playing. At the beginning here, we're going to be plucking those 3 strings I just mentioned. And then we play the melody note at the very end. Well, now we can add some X's to it to actually flesh it out and make it a little bit more full. Let's go ahead and try this order of the X's. You'll see I added an X on 2, on 3, and on 4 on the C, E, and A strings, respectively. If I were to play that, it would sound something like this. And if I go through all of these, it sounds something like this. What that is it's adding filler notes based on whatever chords are being played, whatever I'm currently fretting with my fretting hand, to just strike the strings as filler in between. It can help to play these really softly because that ends up giving you more of the depth of hearing melody versus filler. And if we tab it out, it looks something like this. You can see the little notes in parentheses are symbolized as being softer, these sort of background notes, because that's what they are. They're filler notes. With the notes that are not having the parentheses being our more prominent melody notes, as well as the chord at the beginning of each bar. Now, this full line right here is taken directly from a lesson I did here on YouTube on House of the Rising Sun using this fingerstyle concept. You can find a link right over here. I think it's a great idea to work on this arrangement if you haven't already. You can pause this video, go work on that, come back, because it showcases how this mindset of adding filler on the beats in between can actually be applied. And once you do that, you can come back to this video and be able to see how it is I decided to do that. So it should sound and look something like this. Isn't that cool, right? It really gives you a lot more depth as you're playing. Now, an important thing here is I did not do a note on beat 5, and I didn't do that just because. Space is your friend. It's an important thing to have some space in your melodies as you're playing. And if I were to do something like maybe play my E string or something with that, it'd just sound too full. Actually, as I play it, I kind of like it. And that leads us to the golden rule of this whole exercise, which is if it sounds good, you're doing it right. So experiment as you're doing this. Try doing the strings in different orders. Maybe if I wanted more sound, more fullness, I would play that string, but I could play any combination of strings. And at the end of the day, whatever sounds good is correct for whatever it is we're playing. I just like to put the space there on beat 5 because I think it sounds nice. Ultimately, though, you can select what works best for you. As long as you're playing within this confine of the 6 beats, you're good to go. So experiment and try to play along with it. Now, once you're comfortable with this and applying this in this way, we can start looking at more strumming stuff. And strumming's a little more complicated with this. So when we're strumming, if I were to strum in 6/8, I could just take my index, strum over all 4 strings, and I could just strum it down 6 times, and that would sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, cool. If I do that and I strum where the melody is, it would be something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, that's not very nice, right? It's just, it's oppressively boring, isn't it, right? So what we want to do is we want to learn a popular 6/8 strumming pattern that we can then manipulate to fit the melody notes in our arrangement. So my favorite 6/8 strumming pattern is really simple, and it looks something like this. It's just down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Go ahead and try it with me. Just mute the strings with your fret hand, and it looks, again, something like this as I count us in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Super basic, straightforward. If I play this with the chords, it sounds something like this. Really nice sound for the song. It just works, right? The secret here is you can see my hand is consistently moving, and when I do my downstroke, after that downstroke, I have a miss coming back up, which makes that first downstroke sound a little bit more accented, a little bit nicer. If we were to just go straight down up, this sound gets lost. So having those misses helps separate the sound and make it just sound a little bit nicer. So with this now in mind, I can start to add my melody notes back in. Now, if you remember, the melody was found on beats 1 and 6 of each bar, right? Well, if you look at beat 1 of this pattern, I have a miss arrow after it, which is great because it makes that down on 1 more prominent, as I mentioned before. It just makes it sound more accented. So I want to give the same treatment to where the other melody note is, which is on beat 6, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to miss on the up strum after beat 6 so that I can bring more attention to the melody note there on beat 6. So my pattern now is modified to fit the melody of House of the Rising Sun, and then out goes down, miss, down, up, down, miss, down, up, down, miss. And that looks something like this, and it sounds something like this when I play it now going through the song. Isn't that cool? It sounds really rich and full because I'm using a really nice 6/8 pattern and I'm modifying it to fit with the melody that's being played. Now, a couple quick notes. One is when you're playing a chord melody style that's strummed, you have to make sure that your fretting hand is always fretting the full chord. You can't just play open unless open works for the chord. And that means after you play this 7 and you go down to the D chord, when you play the open on the A, you can't just take everything off like you could when we played on the fingerstyle. You actually have to open that A. I like to take the index and do this partial bar across these 3. That can be challenging for people. Sometimes it's better to do the stack D chord, 2, 2, 2, 0. Whatever you need to do, though, is what you want to do to make sure that you get that full sound. Because that's going to give you the fullness of the chord with the strumming. And so strumming's really fun with chord melody, and as long as you're keeping your hand moving and you're playing the melody notes on the beats that they should fall, you can kind of do whatever you want. Again, the golden rule of all of this is if it sounds good, you're doing it right. In this case, I just took my favorite 6/8 pattern and I modified it so that the melody could be played and sort of highlighted with it to create this sound. You could try all sorts of things though. You can use more misses, more striking, whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, if it sounds good, you're doing it right. Now, if you want to look at this on tab, it looks something like this, which is a lot to look at. The little 3/4 square is telling you it's a down strum. The little V is an up strum. But just like it did with the finger picking, you'll actually see that the filler notes I put in the parentheses to say, hey, we're going to play these quieter. With the melody notes, I'm going to be the just normal written notes. And you can see that these are now 16th notes and 8th notes for you theory buffs in 6/8 time when you start to strum down and up. When your downs are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, means the ups are going to be the and. So it's a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and that's what creates this sort of sound. You can do this strum in a lot of different ways. This is just the way that I like to do it for this song. Bring the camera back up. These techniques can apply to any song that you work on, and it's a lot of fun to start to incorporate them in different ways. I've got a lot of different chord melody arrangements, just like this House of the Rising Sun, over at my Patreon page. And if you downloaded the ebook, you've already been there. Thank you so much. But every month we do a tutorial based on the song votes and suggestions of patrons, and it's awesome to see what everyone comes up with and what they decide on. This happened to win this month's vote. The selection was creating strumming and fingerpicking fills, and the runner-up happened to be a strumming version of House of the Rising Sun. So I try to combine them a little bit to see if I can make everyone happy with it. But if you're interested in joining this awesome community and taking your ukulele playing to the next level, please check it out. I've got all sorts of different membership options. As always, though, these videos here on YouTube will always remain free. So please, please, please subscribe, give this video a like. All those things help the algorithm so much and allow me to continue to make these tutorials. If you want more information on House of the Rising Sun, I've got a few tutorials linked down below. And if you're interested in making your own chord melody arrangements like this, including going into a deeper dive for how you can add fingerpicking and strumming fills, check out my How to Unlock Ukulele Chord Melody course, available right over here. It's, I think, the coolest thing I've ever been a part of making, and it really does help you take these style of chord melody playing to the next level. As always, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time on the next tutorial here. Thank you so much.